Dealers, I'm on a video kick here, so we're going to do another episode on creative uses of video to make your dealership stand out from the competition. Last episode, we talked about creative uses of custom video, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the opposite side of the spectrum, creating polished, high production value videos for your dealership that your dealership absolutely needs to do to stand out. What that video is, we're going to talk about in this episode of Down Payment, so stay tuned.
Welcome to Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers. Prepare to learn something new about the industry that keeps us moving.
Check out all our podcast content on our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X. Welcome back, dealers. We're doing another episode on video because video is such an important part of our marketing media mix. And like we talked about in the last episode, it is one of those core competencies that every dealership needs to have. If you didn't catch that episode, definitely listen to that one first and then catch this one because I don't want to repeat anything. But with video, just making video by itself is not enough. Really what makes video work is as long as you're hitting certain production values, the key to video is being creative. And in this episode, I want to talk about a valuable opportunity to use high production value video. This is video that is not sloppily filmed or edited, but what we're putting in more skill and more time and effort into. I want this to look really professional. And you can use video to make what are boring things interesting. And in this instance, we're talking about biographies on your website. So I have visited like 1,000 different dealerships' websites. And almost everyone has some version of meet our sales team or meet our staff. And often there'll be pictures and biographies. I see as presented basically no value to that. I understand that we're trying to introduce the salesperson to the customer on the website, but there is a much more effective way that we can do that. And that's using polished video to portray what I would call a mini documentary. So we want in a documentary style format to give a little bit of the life story, the interests, the background of our salesperson in order to humanize them for our customers. And that documentary style, somewhat polished video is an amazing way to do that. We want to provide some personal shots of the salesperson along with work shots. We want to have lots of what we call B-roll with a little narrative in voiceover over the top of it, explaining why they're a salesperson, what their interests are, and why they are a good fit to help your customer buy from them. This is something that takes a little bit of finesse and work. This might be the one thing that you bring on an editing professional for. But if you can get a good, say, 3-minute long mini documentary video produced, it's something that is going to be a lot more effective in creating that from a distance personal connection or relationship with the customer. Far more effective than just having a headshot and a short biography. I don't think customers care about that at this stage of the game anymore. That was something that was new and interesting like 25 years ago. We need to step up our game. And then when you have that little mini bio documentary produced, you want the salesperson to include it in their emails. They can have a link with the title, Learn My Story Here, and it gives under their signature the opportunity for the customer to learn their salesperson's story and get a little bit more background on them, create that personal connection. It's something that video is very powerful at doing. If you do it right, you're going to stand above your competition. You're going to develop that relationship between your customer and your salesperson earlier in the sales process. Very powerful. With that, I'd love to hear your ideas on how to improve on this and go sell some cars. It's been another episode of Down Payment. Check out our podcast on all our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X.
Thank you for listening. Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers, is a production of Meta Financial Services Incorporated.